Hooray for Hollywood. Fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy night. Oh, hello there. I am Stan the Movie Man, and this is my review of The Nun. It stars Taissa Farmiga, also Demian Bichir, Bonnie Aarons, Charlotte Hope, Ingrid Bisu, Jonas Bloquet, and more. It is the story of an abbey in Romania where events take place that eventually evolve into what becomes the Conjuring series of movies. A nun in 1952 commits suicide at this particular Romanian convent. It's an old castle that very few people know anything about in the surrounding villages, and they don't like to talk about it. They actually spit on the ground whenever it gets brought up. This nun that commits suicide, her suicide is being investigated by Father Burke, played by Demian Bichir, and sent with him is a novitiate named Sister Irene, played by Taissa Farmiga. And the reason that Sister Irene is being sent along on this particular investigation is because she has experienced visions for much of her life. And Father Burke has done exorcisms. One in particular goes bad and comes back to haunt him. There is a shadowy, mysterious figure that roams around the abbey at night, and it is a nun, but anyone who sees her knows she's evil. She is in fact a demon named Valak, played by Bonnie Aarons. And she is looking for a soul to possess in order for her to go out into the world. It becomes Sister Irene and Father Burke's job to keep that from happening, and they get a little help from a local gentleman who isn't from the area but lives there and likes the people. He's known as Frenchie. He's played by Jonas Bloquet, and he is the one who takes them to the abbey, but he wants nothing to do with the place and leaves. It is it's kind of a mess of a movie. It wastes a really good demon in Valak, and a really creepy location in this old medieval castle that they have changed into an abbey. It does a decent amount of world building in explaining how Valak gets brought into the world and what is necessary to essentially put the genie back in the bottle. But it's not scary. It really isn't. I mean, there are a couple of times where you might be startled, but all of the creepy parts, this movie violates so many rules of horror movies in how people behave. For instance, Frenchie is leaving. He's going to go back to the village after he's dropped off Sister Irene and Father Burke, and he sees a nun in the woods. He can't make out, who it is, but he sees her in the woods. In this wooded area that is also a cemetery. So he goes chasing after her on a foggy night with only a lamp to shine to guide his way. People hear voices, whispers, and they go and follow them. And it becomes so repetitive that people do the stupidest things in this movie that it becomes laughable how ridiculous and redundant it becomes. And the final showdown at the end of the movie is kind of anticlimactic because they kind of telegraph how it's going to end by some events that occur previously. It's just not very intense. It's not very scary. It's kind of dull. I really didn't like The Nun at all, despite all the goodwill this film may have from the Conjuring series of films. And also the fact that it wastes a wonderful bad guy and a spooky location. It is just that. It's a waste. I'm giving The Nun 1 star. Go to StanTheMovieMan.com to read my complete review. You can listen to The Fractured Frame, where some friends of mine and I get together and we discuss the latest in movie, TV, and streaming news. You can find The Fractured Frame wherever you get your podcasts. You can follow me on Twitter at MovieManStan, and you can send emails to me, StanTheMovieMan123 at gmail.com. Till next time, later.